Welcome to RIG, Realty Investors Group, or RIG. Welcome. We've been helping investors since 2012, and we're going strong. We love Frolic Brewing Company. I think most of you guys gained on a couple of visitors. Our deal with our room, we get this room with all this multimedia and good food, good beverages. They ask us to come hungry and thirsty and tip. So otherwise, we get to use the room for free. And I think most of you know this. If not, red up. If it's red, she's not going to talk to you. If it's green, she'll come give. You'll have her attention. She'll come help you out. Our first meeting, we didn't talk about that. About 3/4 through the meeting, everybody's hungry, thirsty. So anyway, moving forward. April, I didn't update this. I did the other one. This is July. Right? It's still July, right? Tonight, we've been doing your networking informal, and we're going to spit through these announcements as fast as possible. Each one of you, wives, husbands, you both get equal time. Each one of us is going to get a little bit of time to do what we call the elevator speech. You got about 30 seconds. I'm Jim, I need, I want. This is what I got to offer. And my phone number is. We'll go through about some haves and wants and OMGs. OMGs is, oh my goodness, something great happened this week, or oh my God, you won't believe what happened. We learned from both. Most of the time we learn more from the bad OMGs than the good. So we'll have any of those to share, we'll do that. And we're not talking about short-term loans, we're talking about infinite banking. And Sherry and Trevor's going to come up and do a presentation on that. You may hear you may hear a tidbit about a good deal that you may manage. It's just too good to be true. It may be true, it may be not. You may hear something really great about a person that's here or not, or somebody you've heard in our investing world in Denver. You think Denver's a big city, but when you get into the investing world, it's a small village. And we share and we talk. So whatever you hear and you think you're interested, ask around. You know Joe Bob? You know about this project over here? And ask around and find out through your due diligence. We can't bet everybody, so ask around. I'll just leave it at that. I'm correct. Yes. We're all over the web. We're still trying to put some more places out, but they only really got to worry about one address. That's realtyinvestorgroup.org. There's links to all our social media out there. And when I try to do a post when I'm doing a post anywhere else, I always try to mirror it on my website. And what else? We've got first time guests here. I think 3, 4 tonight. We love, no, 5. Yeah, 5 first time guests. We love people who've been doing this stuff for 30 days and just stumbling in here just as much as we love people doing it 30 years. We can learn from each other. We can work together. One of the biggest things you'll keep hearing about here at RIG is networking. It's all about, it's not about what you know, but who you know. And we work together. We strive to work together. Our first meetings for everybody is always free. After that, we ask you to join a membership, either an individual membership at $100 or a partner. The partner could be a spouse, significant other, or business partner. You save a little bit of money, $175 a year. And if you have a business, you want to promote deals, promote properties, services, we ask that you do a business membership. And then you can go on our Facebook group and go, I got a project to sell, I got the hot item to sell, or I got these services to sell, and we'll let you do that. And once a month, we pick a business member of the month, and we bring them up here and let them talk about their business. We give them some floor time, and we also, what else do we do? Oh, we put it in social media. It's been a long day, folks. I'm sorry. I'm sure you see me drinking water and coffee too. We let them come up and give some a presentation. And we've got several members, also business members that aren't in Colorado. And tonight, our business member is Mr. David with an accounting firm. And let me see if I can get him switched over to let him share his screen.
All right. Nice to meet everybody. My name's David Milanek. I'm a CPA, and I actually consider real estate investing to be a bit of a niche market for both myself and my firm because I've learned quite a bit about it on my own, and then also through a few clients that we've had that have done some of these things and have asked questions about these things. So these are some kind of basic, but definitely important tax planning considerations that you may want to take into consideration if you are a real estate investor. So the big things that I want to talk about tonight would be the following that you see on the screen there. You got risk mitigation. That's going to be talking about kind of how you want to structure holding your properties and things of that nature. 1031 exchanges, which is effectively, I like to call it the biggest cheat code in the tax system, because effectively you completely get out of paying any taxes on a property that you sell, and you can go and then purchase a new property and invest in that new property, and you can continue to do this until you die. Basically, you can do this up until the day you die, and then your heirs then get any property that you would then have at that point. They get a step up in basis to fair market value. So effectively, capital gains never get recognized when you properly execute 1031 exchanges. And then we have a little bit of other tax and legal advice that we can give you that we think is beneficial for the everyday real estate investor. So let's kind of go into it. So the first thing I like to say is that for real estate investing, the strategy that I use for my real estate investors is almost diametrically opposed to what I recommend to just about any other business owner, I should say. And the reason for that is for real estate investors, you have a little bit of a different consideration here. So, and that is that you have rental income, which is considered passive income under the tax code, whereas most businesses are considered to be ordinary or earned income under the tax code. So it's better for them to incorporate and set up as an S corporation. With real estate, I actually recommend taking and getting an LLC, and it depends on your level of risk tolerance. But if you are someone who thinks that who is okay with a few properties being kind of grouped together in a risk pool, then you could do like maybe 4 or 5 properties in an entity. If you're someone who's like, oh, I don't want any of the risk from any of my properties to touch each other, then you may want to consider even going as far as getting an entity for each property. And when I talk about this, I kind of encourage people to think of it as as like an insurance policy. So if you have an LLC, we have a little bit of an interesting example here on the screen. One is in California, one's in Indiana, one's in Texas. You could actually do this, and this structure that's shown here would actually help you to potentially avoid state taxes as well. But in this setup that we have on the screen here, where we have LLC 1, LLC 2, LLC 3, so each of these properties is held in a different LLC. So let's say that property number 2, the tenant slips and falls and decides, oh, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to try to take everything you're worth. Okay, well, all they can go after is that LLC. And actually, we can make it we have a little bit of another strategy to make it a little bit harder that I'm going to tell you about later, for them to even come after that LLC, because they may not even be in a business relationship with that LLC. They may be in a business relationship with something entirely different. So, and then the tax filing benefits here. Well, obviously, you're going to eliminate your personal liability by having the entities in the first place. That's going to keep all the stuff off of your personal property, so nobody can come after your personal house, nobody can come after your personal car, anything like that. But then the tax filing benefits here primarily are that you can continue to file effectively on one form. You don't have to, as long as we have single member LLCs, of course. If these are all single member LLCs, you can file everything on your Schedule E at the end of the year. You don't have to file a separate form for that. So that can be really beneficial. Now I'd like to move into go ahead and talk about 1031 exchanges. So I'm sure most of you here have heard about 1031 exchanges. It's very clearly defined right there. You're going to be able to defer your capital gains tax on any transaction where you sell a property. So there's 4 different types of 1031 exchanges. There's the standard 1031 exchange, deferred, reverse 1031 exchange, and then something called a build to suit. So we'll talk about each of these briefly, and then there's a little bit more after that. So the standard 1031 exchange is not very common. It's the only one that doesn't actually require a qualified intermediary. If you can actually figure out a way to close on a sale of a property and close on a purchase of a property on the same day, then you don't technically need a qualified intermediary to do that. But you have to be able to make sure that you can close on the same day to make that happen. So typically what people do, this is the most common one, is the deferred 1031 exchange. The rules on it are you sell your property. From the day you sell your property, you have 45 days to identify 3 new properties. You then have to close on one of those properties within 180 days. Now, the amount that the new property, the amount of the basis in the new property, which is the cost of the new property, can be any number you want higher than the original property that you sold, but you don't want it to be any lower, because if it's any lower, then the overage is considered a boot for tax purposes, and that is something that you would have to effectively pay capital gains on dollar for dollar. So if you sold a property for $180,000, acquired a new property for $150,000, the $30,000 overage would automatically be considered capital gain that you'd be taxed on. So you don't want that. And then the timelines that we mentioned here, they are completely non-negotiable. So you have to identify those properties within 45 days, and you have to close on one within 180. Now, that said, one of the tricks you can do, if you're planning on selling a property, you can start identifying a new property ahead of time prior to the sale of the property, to where you can easily hit both those 45 and 180-day windows. So you can, if you decide, if you're doing a rehab, for example, and in 90 days I'm going to be done with this rehab and I'm going to close on it in an additional 30 days. Okay, so that gives you an additional 120 days from that, in addition to the 45, to go ahead and identify properties if you start looking at that time. And so that's something that you can kind of get a little bit ahead of the game with. So this is actually, like I said, the most common form of 1031 exchange. And this requires that you put your money in escrow when you are going through the process of the 1031 exchange. And then the escrow money will be released at the close of the purchase of the new property. Then you have the reverse 1031 exchange. So that's going to happen. It's basically reverse. You purchase a property and then you sell a property within 180 days. And if you do that and you meet the criteria, once again, where you have property that's valued lower in the sale than the purchase of the new property, then once again you will completely defer those capital gains taxes. Then we've got what's called the build to suit 1031 exchange. So you can actually construct a new property as part of a 1031 exchange. The problem with this is that if you're going to do this, you have to meet that 180-day deadline still. So you can't go and build like, you know, a five building apartment complex unless you got some really good, really quick contractors, because you got to get this done in 180 days. It has to be done with 180 days, no exceptions. If you're not done, then you could still be subject to those capital gains taxes. So that's basically the 4 different types of 1031 exchanges. So there's a little bit more that we have in terms of tax planning and everything. So one of the things that I like to focus on with real estate investing is the idea of legacy planning. And I meant to have the word, after example, I meant to have the word limited partnership here. So just imagine that those are there, okay? But legacy planning is going to, if you have a very large holding of real estate, by structuring your entities correctly, you can actually significantly reduce or potentially completely eliminate the inheritance tax that could be levied on your heirs. So in a limited partnership, which is what, if you're going for this type of thing, it's how I recommend to hold your properties. If you have a limited partnership, the limited partners are going to be the people that you want to inherit the property. They're going to be the ones that they're going to have 99.9% ownership. You can do that. You can have it even higher than that, actually. And you can have a very, very small percentage, like 0.1% of the limited partnership. But as the general partner, you retain full control. This does require you to file partnership tax returns. But the great thing about partnership tax returns is that the profit and loss can be distributed however the partners see fit. And if the general partner is the only one with any say, you as the 0.1% general partner can still receive 100% of the profits and 100% of the losses. So it doesn't affect the people that you're trying to pass this stuff on to in any way for tax purposes, but it is going to, when they inherit it, all they're inheriting is 0.1% of a limited partnership. They're not inheriting the actual holdings themselves. They already had the holdings. They already owned the holdings in the first place. All they're really inheriting is that last little sliver of it that gives them the control. And then, so the other thing that I typically recommend to real estate investors, unless you're contracting out to another property management company, is to set up your own property management company. Now, why would you do that? Okay, so let's say you have 10 properties and they're each making you're renting them each out for $1,000 a month. Well, you can enter into contract with your own property management company to manage those properties, and that'll include collecting the rents, doing everything you see there. And if you contract with yourself effectively to manage those properties, you can set the rate, whether you want it to be 10, 15%, however much you want it to be. That money is automatically a deduction from your rental property. So let's say you set it at 10%, you have $1,000 a month for 10 different properties, 10,000. That means $1,000 a month is going to your property management company, and each of those rentals is taking $100 a month deduction automatically, and you can. It's completely legal to do that. You don't lose anything by doing that. You just get an additional tax deduction. Then you also can have expenses for your property management company. Various different things. You can rent out space in your home. You can lease your vehicle. It can have its own phone number. There's any variety of things that any ordinary property management company would have to have. Your property management company can have too. And we can take this to where it also becomes a tax loss for you and generates deductions on your rental properties. The other thing about this is if you have a property management company that you're running yourself, you can have that property management company enter into the leases with your tenants, and that way that's where it creates that additional layer of separation I was talking about earlier between you and between your property and your tenant, because now it's not only it's completely separating you out of the equation entirely as the investor. It's putting the property management company in the contract, in the lease contract with the tenant, and then and then that's completely taking away if you have a holding company for the property itself, the holding company is not involved whatsoever with that contract. So it makes it a little bit harder, makes everything in here, makes it just a little bit harder for someone to come after you. So, and then also, like I said, variety of positive tax benefits that we can generate here out of doing all this stuff. So that's basically my presentation. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those questions. And if not, then thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And we are Katz Melanek. Our office number is 708-914-8220. And you can visit us at katzmelanek.com.
Kudos to him, because when I first talked to him, I sent him a copy of my QuickBooks. We talked on the phone in about the first 5 minutes. He says I can save you $4,000 a year, one form. I'm like, done, sold, you got a new client. And then my bill, when I was expecting maybe to pay a little bit more than I'd already paid, he got me a humongous return, not just paying, but I love this guy. And he's not here, but we've communicated. He doesn't have to be here. With mail drop and mailbox or whatever, I'll Dropbox.
Hey, yo.
He can be just as efficient as sitting across the desk from him. See any questions for him?
Tell us your number again.
They want your number again, David.
708-914-8220. You know, hold on. I'll just give me a second. I'm gonna pull up a new screen share.
Okay. And we got one question waiting on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead with it.
On the reverse 1031 exchange, so you said, explain that again, 180 days. So the deal has to be completed within 180 days total? That's not something you've held a long time? So
yeah, so the deal has to, so you would purchase the new property, and then you have 180 days from that purchase to sell the subject property.
okay, to actually close on it or have it under contract?
You need to close on it. You need to have it done.
Land, baby. So like really quick flips.
Yeah, but again, it's something that you can plan out. So like with the deferred exchanges, when I was talking about that earlier, you can, if you know you're going to be selling a property, you can start to plan it out. If you know you're going to be purchasing a property and you want to sell a different property, you can start figuring out which one you want to sell. You can start putting it on the market, everything like that. It's close to close is
Right.
the 180-day window. So it doesn't matter what happens in the intervening time.
So what you're
If
saying?
you make that close to close 180 days, you're good.
Okay. Does land qualify?
Does land qualify? Ooh, that's a good one. So land would qualify. And Jim, that's actually a little bit of an old number there that you got for the office. That's just going to forward to my cell phone. I'll have to get you the new office number, but as far as land qualifying, I believe it would have to be land for land.
Sure.
It's like kind exchange.
That's sure.
Jim,
It doesn't have to be land for land, it could be building for land.
Put the last slide back up, we didn't get the phone number down.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll get it. Hey, Dave, can you text me your number and I will make sure I pass it out, because I don't want to go back to the screen share.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm gonna text it to you right now.
Go on, text, and so I'll give everybody the number. Gary?
Double closes.
Yeah, just couple comments. That reverse 1031 exchange became really popular because in the recent sellers market, it was challenging for investors to secure the purchase price within like 180 days. So that became, it's more expensive to do reverse 1031 just than regular 1031.
Fees go.
But you secure the purchase and then you have the listing lined up, you list the property because it's gonna sell in the hot market. So that became really popular that way. And then another comment about creating your own property management company for tax purposes, you still need to have a real estate license to have property management service.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Didn't know that.
so that is the licensed profession, so just keep it fun.
The number's wrong, but his email's right. And his website's catsmalanic.com. And I'll have his real number. Anything else before we move on?
I have a question.
All right,
Can you 1031 exchange into a property that you already own, but you just want to develop it? You want to sell some property and use the money to build something on a property that you currently own?
you hear that, David?
Vacant lot?
I'm gonna need you to repeat it to me, Jim.
You do a 1031 exchange to a property that you own, because you want to take the money and develop it. Right?
No, because you have to exchange the property. So you actually have to lose one property and gain another property.
You're selling one and buying. You're
You have to
selling.
lose one property and gain one property.
I wonder if you
It
can.
actually can be multiple, but you have to at least lose one and gain one.
Yeah, I thought about that the other day too, can you have of your own, that you own? Can't, like, if I have two LLCs, can this LLC buy one and then sell to the other?
Can I own two LLCs. Can LLC number one sell it to LLC number two?
Well, so here's the problem. You're going to run into the issue of an arm's length transaction there, because ultimately you are selling to you.
If they pierce the veil, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
I would imagine if the LLC is owned by two different people with two different names, it's obviously work.
Well, one LLC in your name, but the LLC in like your mother or wife. I can get away with that because my wife, we use her Chinese name there.
But it's like transaction, but that's like.
If we want to separate, it's Jim and Bill and her Chinese name. That's two different people.
It's only illegal if you get caught.
That's it. Well, I don't do anything really bad. All right, one more question and then work. All right, go ahead.
It's like questions left clarification. So from my understanding, the 1031 exchange has to be like kind. So definition of like kind is pretty broad though. So it's all within real estate. So you could sell an office building and buy land. You can sell land and buy an apartment building. The one thing they've narrowed on is non-real estate assets. So the last couple of years, they're tightening up the tax code. You used to be able to do like art and yachts, boats and whatever. They've got rid of all that. So 1031 exchange truly has to be real
But you
estate.
can sell one and buy two or three.
Well, I think the what you're referring to there would have fallen under Internal Revenue Code section 1035, which is not exactly the same, but yeah, I don't even know about the land part. That one, I would question that because you're talking about land plus improvements when you're talking about a building versus. And if the IRS allows it, then hey, the IRS allows it, so that's great. But I don't like to be in the position of having to rely on them to allow it. I like to be in the position to tell them that they have to allow it.
Alright, sound good? I hate to cut it off, but you got his email, you got his website. Don't just ask him questions. Get him signed up, take care of your taxes next year. Hey, David, thank you for being here virtually. I'll buy a couple of beer for you and a sandwich, and I'll put it over here.
All right.
Kurt says put it over by him. He'll take care of it.
All right. Sounds good.
So stick around and we'll just keep going. All right. So did y'all get anything out of that? Some people scribbling there. That was good. Normally our business partners don't really give you good, when they come up and do this segment, they don't really give you good things you want to put into action. Thanks, David. I saw this warning a few months ago, and I love it because it's true. If you hang out with successful people, they will brainwash you into believing in yourself and thinking you can achieve anything. And we're here to help you and stand beside you and behind you and lead the way to help you do that. And we've got some winners here. We're going to go around the room. This is our 30-second elevator speech. My name is, I specialize in, I need, I can offer, and my phone number is. And we're going to start there with David, one of my board members, and let him show you how to do it. Everybody gets time.
Hi, my name is David Van Steenkiss. I'm involved in, my specialty is land flipping. I own a company called Mile High Rural Land. That's where we buy and sell land. And I also own a company called Land.mba, and that's where we teach you how to flip land for incredible returns, great cash flow. And if you are in real estate now, no matter what you do, whether you're an investor or a realtor, we're all taught that we need to have multiple tools in our tool belt. Land is a very easy ancillary tool to add to your tool belt and creates incredible cash flow. So if you want to know more about it, talk to me. My phone number is 720-759-8578, or just look me up at land.mba.
We're going to talk about some training coming up. Miss Katie Fleming, she started this group back in 2011. We had a 2012. And we're on Ray, could you mute yourself, please? Could everybody mute yourself, please? We started a group way back in 2012, and she's always had the heart for doing masterminds, getting a small group together and just masterminding your business. It doesn't have to be real estate. She's very selective in who will take part. If you are interested, there's her stuff. Contact her and she'll interview you to see if you're good for her and she's good for you. She wants to make sure you're going to get in and go through the whole process. Love her to death like a sister. So Katie Fleming. Right now she's over in Europe touring around with Nan. I think her birthday was yesterday, I believe. And nice. Those two young ladies are over having a blast. Cool. John Fisher's Breakfast Club. We met these two beautiful ladies last weekend. It's coming back up next month. I keep saying, other than Rig, that's the best group in town. Go, go, go. It's networking off the hook. It starts at 7 o'clock in the morning. But traffic's awesome, parking's awesome, the food's great. They're back to the buffet. So you get as much in what you want, no more of that little tiny menu crap. Things. You need to go. We need to go.
Still at the same place.
$25. It's at Dazzle at Bowers. Curtis. We're basically Curtis and 14.
Sam, that's the Sam Summer group.
Yeah. Awesome group. They are business members, and here we go. The best success is real estate investing mentorship. You'll hear me say a lot. Do not invest money in these national gurus that fly in, teach a weekend course and want $50,000 out of you, and then they fly out of town. Tim and Vince and Ivania, they're here. They've been here. They've been investing in Denver and the area. They know the area that they've trained. It's proven. And they offer this. This is some of the stats on their stuff. 40 years of real estate investing experience. Then 93% of their students do a deal in their first year. That's almost a condition for you signing up for their course. You're going to be prepared to buy at least one house in a year. And then you get 36,000 average profit student deals. And there's the stuff that you'll receive. A year of mentorship and coaching, all the software. You'll have contractors list. You'll have online access. You'll have a bi-monthly class where you get together and go through class. And you do a, I think a monthly property tour where they actually take you out on some properties to look around. And there's more stuff. If once you complete, the bottom line is that bottom thing down there, you will have rehabbed your house and be able to tell your story at the end of the year if you follow the program. It's very hands-on and process. So there's Tim's info, and there's a video. It went too fast. Oh, you want actually writing it down? Take a picture.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but my phone battery is dead.
T. Emery at invest-success.com. They've got a video on there. And they got a video. It's him talking about the programs. Get it? Moving. Again, I do private lending. I also do hard money brokers. I'm kind of getting away from hard money guys, because those guys are just too many rules and stuff and too complicated. And when it's me and JH loaning our money, we usually know the person and we can sit down and we're more apt to be more flexible with it too than some of the other companies. This is something that strictly, I'm just gonna say there's if you're interested in a project where you buy a box, or you get a box, you plug it in and it starts mining coins for you and pay in helium coins. There's that. I can share that with you later, answer any questions. What else? Finally. You got it. This one? That's what that is you get a little box, you connect to the internet, it's building the IoT, the Internet of Things. And you're building, it's not like it's not 5G, but it's that type of a network. All these scooters running around town and sensors and coolers and stuff like that. That all runs on the IoT, Internet of Things. And we're helping build that network. They pay you in helium. Now, back to shit. Y'all come on up. I'll give you this mic. I'll change out the slides.
Good evening, everybody. So today I would like to introduce my dear friend, Trevor. As a real estate agent, I approach my clients in a way to support them build wealth through real estate. And in that process, in addition to real estate transactions, I try to be always open to learning about new things to help my clients learn about all different opportunities and options to fund their real estate transactions. And I started going to networking, educational networking group called Wine Women Wealth, which is hosted by a life insurance company called Five Rings. And then I met so many ladies trying to learn about finances, wealth building. And then in there, I was introduced to life insurance with access to your cash value by borrowing money against your account. And it is widely used by real estate investors to source their real estate transactions. So I signed up with the Five Rings not to be a life insurance salesperson, but to offer what it has to, the opportunity it provides us real estate investors. And then I think it's a valuable information today that Trevor is going to present to us about modern day life insurance with a self-banking function. So here's Trevor.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. This is a very fun group already. I've already decided that I need to speak more at groups that offer beer while I'm speaking. It's much more fun. But before I get going, so who in here has ever heard of infinite banking before? Okay, who actually understand? Well, other than the insurance people, right? I know you get it. We got a lot of people in here to do that. So who actually understands how it all works kind of in and out? Got a couple. Okay, so I'm speaking to the right group. Awesome. So as Sherry said, so I've been with Five Rings Financial for about 11 years. I'm a national vice president with the company. I've been in the industry for about 15 years.
Like I said in my 30-second commercial there, I've worked with a lot of real estate investors over the last 15 years. I'm just now getting interested in it myself, so I'm very excited to be part of the group. But today, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over kind of life insurance as a whole, and then also go over the infinite banking concept and how it all works and why it makes so much sense for all of you real estate investors in the room. So here are some of the biggest reasons why people love infinite banking. It's risk-free. Now, again, we are using a life insurance policy to build this big cash value balance that we can use to fund our real estate investing projects. There are several different types of life insurance policies that you can get out there. The ones that I prefer are ones that guarantee you're not going to lose money when the market goes down. So there are some fixed interest opportunities, there are indexed opportunities, both of which I prefer more than something that's completely invested in the market. But with some of these other types of policies, you can also get market-like returns, something like 10%, 12%, 15% in a life insurance policy. A lot of people think just because it's life insurance, you can't actually make good returns in it. It's actually not true. The next thing is tax-free growth. So one of the nicknames of a permanent life insurance policy is actually a Roth on steroids. Has anybody ever heard of that before? Nice, one person, perfect. And we call it that because all of the rules of a life insurance policy are very similar to a Roth. We are putting tax money in, it gets to grow tax deferred, and then when we access it later on down the road, it all comes out tax-free. And we get access to it tax-free, right? We can set that up, whether if we need it to fund our real estate investment project, or if we want to use this as a retirement plan down the road, we can do that as well. Tax-free wealth transfer. So because we are using a life insurance policy, once we pass away, all of that money goes 100% to our beneficiaries, your kids, your grandkids, and it's all 100% tax-free, avoids probate, does all of that stuff. So that's another reason why people love life insurance. It's private. We're using private companies to fund these types of accounts. We also have quite a bit of control of these policies. So there are different ways, whether it's index crediting options in order to have our money grow, or fixed interest options, but also we can adjust how we fund them. So we can fund them monthly, annually, over a certain set period of time, over our entire lifetimes. They are very flexible so that we can kind of create these for each individual person's situation. So very, very flexible, a lot of control. Leverage. So we are able to take loans from these policies. They are participating loans. And I'll kind of get into what that means later on down the road here. And there's actually no required repayment. A lot of times when we hear the word loan, we think that, okay, well, now I need to start repaying it, whether that's on a monthly basis, an annual basis, a certain time frame. That's actually not the case. There are a lot of situations where you can take loans from these policies and never actually pay them back if you don't want to. Legal protection. This is what everybody loves about life insurance policies. There are protections against creditors and bankruptcy, actually, with life insurance policies. Now, each state is different. The nice thing about the state of Colorado is if you've had your policy for 4 years or longer, 100% of the cash value in your life insurance policy is protected from creditors and bankruptcies. Before that period, you're covered up to $250,000 of protection. So people can come after everything that you own. You can declare bankruptcy and again lose everything. In a life insurance policy, it's all going to be protected. But how? How does that work, right? So the next thing we're going to go over are different types of life insurance and the types that we use for our real estate investor clients. So this is Alexander Graham Bell. Anybody didn't know that already? Life insurance has changed quite a bit over the last 10 years, let alone 100 years. And so I always kind of compare it to the telephone. So in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell created the telephone, made the very first phone call. Would everybody agree the telephone has changed quite a bit from then to now? Yeah, I mean, telephones do 1 million things, right? They are our calendars, we send emails, we send text messages, we trade stocks on them, we do just about everything. And then they also make phone calls, right? But we still call them phones. Well, it's the same way with life insurance. Life insurance back in the day, and what all of us are used to life insurance doing is, when's the only time we usually get a benefit from a life insurance policy? When you die, that's right.
For all, like I say, there's a lot of uncertainty going on right now. There's a lot of people, there's one guy in here that's very negative. He stepped out, didn't he? So I can talk about it. He's very always here. This is Mr. Doomy Doom right there. He just left. But there's a lot of stuff going on and nobody knows. So like I say, Manfred's going to be here next month. He packs his house every time. He goes and he just doesn't I feel. He goes shows you the facts and the trends, and based on that, this is where I think we're going. So it's not just I feel, but he's been doing this for years. He travels all over the world, or used to travel all over the world with training and doing stuff. He's 83 years young, and he's still sharp as an tack, and we love him. He's also on our board. So I promise you, if you're going to come, please get your event right, because we're going to be sold out. This is who's ball. See the card. Now we got time, so after we close, I'll play a video of Beth getting the goal on Steve. But we're actually playing. And it's fun. And look, you can't tell by this picture, but there's some younger ones, some older ones. I got to play for a while. I had to get out and take care of picnics. We are trying to work with Wonderland Brewery. And it's over on 120th by Cole. If they'll approve us bringing the court in and the liability of it all, we're going to do it on the 30th. Alan already said he'll bring the court up. And we're going to probably start around noon and kind of go all until everybody's tired. Like Nicole said, can I come? I was like, yeah, bring 5 people. Then you'll have Team Nicole. Sherry can bring 5 people. We'll have Team Sherry. And we'll just play, or we'll just
I
mix
didn't
and match.
get to play last time.
I know. So you get Team Sherry and come on. Don't do all.
You're on my team.
We're not going to charge any. We're not going to charge anything. I'm going to make Al happy with funds to get his gas and load the thing up. We are going to ask probably some people to be there an hour early to help pack it up. I will put it up and tear it down at the end. But we're going to
By the way, I'm very positive that there's a lot of negative coming.
But that negative now means opportunity, so it's positive now and then. Well, that's true. So you don't have to worry. All right. For your newbies, you know how things go in cycles? Up, down, sometimes jagged. If you know what you're doing and you got the right people around you, you can make money at any point on the limit. You can make money going up, you can make coming down, as long as you know. Go ahead. August. July.
Okay. July.
Yes, the 30th of this month.
Oh,
Why?
I'm over that.
They had a good turnout.
Yeah, it says September. I know, I told you, I was up at 4 o'clock this morning.
He was 2 months ahead of us.
This July 30th. But you know what? If we go and do it, have so much fun, we may do it again in September. Right out?
You bet.
You bet.
Double the price.
Permanent is off.
For the right motivation.
There you go.
And again, here's John Fisher's next month, August the 13th. You need to get a ticket there. It's $25, but now they're back to the buffet, so you need as much as you want. There's people that's been there ever since it was created. And there's people that's, I'm thinking about joining and starting to invest there. And they all sit at the table and they all talk and work together. We've got friends here tonight because I met Nicole at John Fisher's breakfast many years ago. Here she is. Okay, next. What else? All right, who's invested in raw land there before? You're a student. No tenants, no toilets. Go ahead. Do a 5-second plug. Fantastic cash flow.
And low point of entry, and if you're already in real estate, I mean, it's just such an awesome extra cash flow stream. I have one student, all he did was buy my video course, and he couldn't afford coaching, but he found a friend to help him a little bit along with the course. His salary was $60,000 a year, and he lived in San Diego. That doesn't go very far in San Diego.
Yeah.
His first year, he made 200 grand extra on the side flipping land. Now he's in coaching to scale his business, but it's and that guy's kicking ass.
I'll say in 1 year, I'm only working about an average of 4 hours a week doing land. I've made over 100 grand. And I'm up to $2,200 in mailbox money, investing on average $1,000 on a parcel. It works.
I bought a parcel of property, and reacquired antique mineral rights. I bought the land for $365,000, paid $5,000 for the mineral rights. It's already paid me 92 grand in filing income. I don't know if I'll ever sell it. And I don't know if I'll ever build it, and I'm an architect. This is what I do, but it's making money, it's wake up money.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So we're also Dave's also gonna put together an actual weekend workshop. Since he gets all the package and all, we'll come in, we'll probably do it right here on Saturday and maybe a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And we'll give you actually hands-on and get you started. Anything else? That's it. All right. What else? We got? What else? Cash flow. Who knows cash flow?
Was it really September 20th?
This is really.
Now we all gonna question.
Quit drinking while you put the slides together.
I didn't know I didn't put flyers. I've had a bad day, I promise. And I gotta be up at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, so I'm not gonna hang out here and close this place down tonight. Cash flow, it's fun. We're gonna sit right back in that corner probably, maybe if there's a part of me, maybe in here. We play together, so if you've never played before, just come on, we'll play it together. We all play to win. Usually when somebody wins, he just catches it or not catches out. We just start throwing dumps back in the game. We'll play until everybody says, okay, we've had enough. But it's fun. No charge. You just come and have fun. And network. That lady keeps popping up. I don't know why. We're in a hurry. You've never been there before. Where the hell she's coming from?
Quit drinking while you're putting the slides together.
Anyway, we're in a brewery, they're open late, stay here and network, that's what it's all about. And I will go, just when I say we're done, I'll close this and I'll show the video of us actually playing. So what do you think, first timers? All right, next month, right here, second Tuesday of the month. I'm gonna shut up and shut this down, and I'll find the video. But stick around, hang around. Thank you for coming. We love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you gotta keep holding on. You can, just, you'll get the hang of it.
Here it goes!
Oh yeah.
Whoa! Go!
Jim, you didn't get that.
I got it!
No.
It's a drinking game. Everybody must have a beer.
His cup holder fell down right away.
You gotta have a beer in your hand. You just hold that.
All right.
Ready?
Here we go.
Coming up the side.
Whoa. I don't think you're gonna fake it.
Here we go.
Uh-oh, look at that.
Whoa!
One timer.
It's fine. As long as it doesn't go out, it's fine.
Ticket.
Just
Backwards is okay too. Backwards is fine. Missed the good one. All right, there it is. Here we go. You get that ball back. Line it up. No delay in the game, though. No delay. That's the way. That's your problem. Oh, that was almost one. There you go.
whoop, whoop.
As long as you can do your hands, as long as you don't do your hands.
There you go.
Fight for it. No, that was it. That was it. Play a partner. There it is. Sass it. Win it.
Good deed, good deed. Good
All right.
Good divorce, baby. Goalie two. Good.
Hey, Blue, kick it in.
Over here.
Oh, good block. Good block.
Al, you ain't got no luck on saving your drinks.
Again? Yes, again.
Good shot. Oh, good shot. Oh, good shot. Good shot.
Side front. That's the way to go.
Keep both hands on the rails. Ooh.
He's like,
Oh, nice. Nice.
No decapitation of the players.